Hello there, I'm your host Michelle, and welcome to part 2 of our tutorial. If you haven't already, please watch part 1 of this playlist. We're now ready to create our drawable from our original 3D model. The first thing we need to do is to extract or unzip the skull model we downloaded from Sketchfab. In the extracted folder, you will notice we have both the model as well as its textures. Now we can import our skull model, in the FBX format, directly into Blender. If you're unfamiliar with Blender, this is what the start screen will look like. There are 3 items that are there by default: a cube, a light, and a camera. None are needed for this tutorial, so we will delete them. In Blender, there are always dozens of ways to do the same task. For example, you can click on each of the 3 items and then hit the delete key. Let's hit undo to show you another method. This time we will move to the section of Blender called the outliner and select the camera with a left click, then Ctrl left click the cube, and lastly Ctrl left click the light, and finally select delete hierarchy. Choose whatever method you prefer, but make sure you delete all 3 objects. Importing the FBX is very easy. From the File menu, choose Import, and then scroll down the list of different 3D file formats to FBX. Browse your hard drive to the skull FBX file which we unzipped, and it will appear in Blender. To get a better view, we will use the middle mouse button to zoom in. You can also click and hold the magnifying glass icon here, and move your mouse back and forth. Once more, there are dozens of different ways to do the same things in Blender. With these preliminaries out of the way, we can now introduce the Solums Tools section. Unsurprisingly, we can access the Solums tools in many ways. For example, we can hit the N key to open and close it. Or we can use our mouse to not only open it, but also to drag it to the left so it is more visible. It's your choice. As our final steps, make sure you have selected the skull by clicking on it. Now with the Solums tools visible, select the Drawables, followed by Create Drawable Objects. Ensure the Auto Embed Collision and Center to Selection boxes are checked. To finish, click on Convert to Drawable. If successful, you will now have the skull model as well as the skull collisions under skull in the outliner. That concludes part 2 of our tutorial. In part 3 we will add textures and create shaders.